Hey everybody, welcome back to the Smack. This is Mars here, and I'm here to talk to you about why did X-Men 97 become such a huge success. Now, there are two very different camps here. One camp is saying they're not really a success, and another camp is saying, yes, they are a success. So let's kind of break it down and explain and understand what's going on. Let's start with the camp that said it's not really a success. They said it's a very complicated show. You know, X-Men are complicated. Let's just talk about that. I mean, they have way too many characters, and without a doubt, they have tons of characters. We do have the main ones, such as, you know, Cyclops, Storm, the Beast, Iceman, you know, Wolverine and others. But at the face of it, there are tons of other characters, and you can see this in the new Powers of X is now ending the Krakoa era, as they call it, where they had a whole island full of mutants. But hey, I'm getting ahead of ourselves. Another reason that people thought that this was going to it wouldn't work out is that there's such a divergent storylines. I mean, one thing with the X-Men, you have them going into different timelines and, you know, back and forth, and you're not sure which timeline is what. So that could have been a killer too. Also, clashing storylines. You have storylines that start and stop, but you know, that was something that they did. Of course, you get a new writer on, they start with a whole different idea, not necessarily the idea that was going on before, but that's what happened. Also, the story had this series had a very fast pacing about it. You know, they were throwing everything, all the different major stories within one or two arcs, trying to get everything out. Understandable, because you don't know if you're going to have any more, if the series is going to continue, but they did do it, and it was pretty fast. Holding on. And lastly, some people claim it didn't do as well as they said that DC, that Marvel and Disney claimed it. You know, that's debatable. Looking at different numbers, you're not 100% sure, but you know, there's certain things that you can figure that if everybody's saying it's doing well and is doing well, it's doing well. Of course, people can lie to you, but let's bring it down like this. Marvel, if it did 1 million subscribers, a million subscribers joined, or 1 million people tuned in, for Disney or Marvel, that's probably a hit on their end. But let's say if they did the exact same show on ABC, probably they needed 5 million people for it to become a hit. So, you know, we're looking at these companies and stories, and they have different yardsticks as to how they measure stuff. But, I mean, let's not just limit it to that. Why do you think it won, right? Nostalgia, that was been one of the biggest things people talked about. It's nostalgia. You know, yeah, that can go, but it doesn't go forever for everything. If it's not a good story, nothing's going to happen. And I think that's where one of the strong points is that you had the producers and the writers. They understood the customer. They understood the customers. They understood what people wanted to see, and they provided it to them. You know, the stories were stories that people either read or stories that people were interested in looking at. Let's not discount the power of the critics. You know, the critics are extremely influential. They write. This is what they do all the time. We do, of course, see divergence in how critics score things versus how the general public score stuff. So, for example, when you look at Rotten Tomatoes, they have two scores. They have the critic score, you know, because critics tend to be a little bit more out there versus the general public, you know. But it's sometimes that they both align. And in this case, you see that they're both aligned, the public and the critics. And, of course, you know, when that happens and the critics are constantly writing about it and publishing stuff, you're going to see a lot of positive it's like a positive feedback loop. They're writing about something that they think is good. People are checking it out and say, oh, you know what? Word of mouth, it is good. You know, which helps to bring it back and forth, you know, which is a good thing. And another thing, too, is there was already a large fan base for X-Men. I mean, it took, the X-Men comics were huge, but you also had the X-Men movies from Fox, which is now owned by Disney. And Disney has all those shows, most of those movies on their Disney Plus. So you can just go out there and read view it, and you can, you know, get information about the stories that you're interested in or delve more into it. You also had the timing. I mean, right now there wasn't really anything else going on, and so it was a huge plus, especially with the Deadpool and Wolverine movie coming up real soon. So it was just like, hey, they're prompting, you're getting the Wolverine, a little tidbit of the Wolverine, you're getting into the story here, and you're going to see him later on. So I think a lot of people, you know, Wolverine is probably one of the top, if not the top X-Men there is. So, you know, but I'm a Cyclops fan personally. And lastly, the numbers. So people complain, hey, the numbers aren't legit, you know, or the numbers have been skewed. whatever you can say, it's hard in this time and age where no one's really using Nielsen the way they used to use it with the standard television like ABC, NBC, CBS, and we have to rely a lot on these major companies to provide the information, or third parties to try to correlate something. I mean, we see in Google Trends that it did trend up on a regular basis. And so the very fact you see the writing, you see people talking about it, there's water cooler conversation. So overall, there is a likelihood that it was a hit, and the very fact that Disney once again renewed the show shows us that there's something that they thought that was successful and would bring back. So overall, I think there's enough evidence to show that this series was a hit and that people wanted to see it. If you like what I said, please comment, subscribe, give me a thumbs up. Spinner Rack, out.